Alright, welcome. This is a Traveller video here. It's going to be a resources again. I just purchased some more stuff from Far Future Enterprises. Hoping to get into the campaign here again. After this video, I've just got to work through all these materials, and you did see the solo stuff in a previous video I did, and trying to streamline it and come up with a path here. But today, for this video, I just want to talk about I did a second buy from Far Future Enterprises and took advantage of their buy 4 for 3 for the cost of 3. So here's what I picked up this time. I picked up GURPS 1 and GURPS 2, the GURPS Traveller. A lot of resources there, and then I did see he added, I guess it's called Verse or whatever, the guy who created all this. He, for almost like 12, 15 years, did a whole bunch of daily or weekly writings, and it's included here too. So I picked up both of these, and then I also, for my fourth one, picked up Traveller 4. Initially, I wasn't going to get Traveller 4. I've read the reviews, and although it is a different time period during the building of the Imperium first, but then when I looked at the contents here, I said, oh, well, there's a whole bunch of good stuff here. Again, use these as resources, and also playing in a different time period, Sylean Confederacy. I think that's what it's called, is what the Imperium is built on. Sorry, headset keeps turning itself off. So you see here the core rules. Yeah, apparently there's a lot of errata, sorry, but then they've got specs and stuff going on. So even if you're just using the resources to play during that early Sylean Confederation into the Imperium, into the Empire or whatever, into the Imperium period, you could do that. So that's why I picked up T4, mainly for the resources. A whole lot of material there. But looking at the other ones, yeah, if we look at the first one here, CD1 has the base info and all this cool stuff here. Actually, there's a better view here. One of the docs that came with it. Yeah, the Verse. That's what they talked about. So here we're looking at GURPS Traveller. The big two things I would say about GURPS Traveller are, number one, obviously it's built on GURPS. I forgot, Universal Role Playing System. Slip in what the G stands for now, but that's the big one, number one. But number two, they changed the timeline. The rebellion never occurs. Yeah, the Imperium Emperor Stefan was. This is what they had in the other one, Third Imperium Split. I think that's TNE. But what they do in GURPS Traveller here, they changed that, and the Imperium never falls. The assassination never occurs. So get some background there. And then GURPS, I'm debating whether I really want to plunge into using GURPS. I read some reviews. Kind of set on Mongoose right now. It's pretty straightforward, but you know, GURPS is a lot more detailed, and then you can do all sorts of other stuff. You know, if you want to make comments, that's great in the chat to let me know which one you prefer. But it's pretty extensive. There's a GURPS, a full GURPS, GURPS Lite, and then they talk about here in a little more detail all of the stuff that comes with the package here. 2 CDs. Starship stuff is on the second one, but you get all sorts of info about starports. You get a Starships here, publication, deck plans, the way I like it, 2D, square, or hex even. And then humans, alien races, all these. And these are set during the Third Imperium. The difference is the Emperor was not assassinated, so it continues on. But it's during that time period. More alien races here. They've got even explaining nobles. That's interesting. See how nobles do. And then they've got, it looks like some adventures here behind the claw. Oh no, details. Details of Spinward Marches. Okay, there's that Rim of Fire. Soleimani Rim. That's good stuff. Sword Worlds. Mongoose has a resource on that. So, First In I've been looking at because that's about scouts. And they do have an extensive system and world building. You know, you did see in a previous video I've been looking at the World Builder from Digest. Not ready necessarily to shift here, although it is detailed. Ground Forces, Marines, and Army. Good stuff there. And then Star Mercenaries, if you want to do the mercenary. Pretty much paralleling now what newer, you know, the Mongoose even has, but great, good resource books there. Wow, this is where they're just deep diving individual planets. That's pretty cool. Yeah, some more. Prison planet. Wow, you could get some stuff from that. Actually, the prison planet, you could do breakouts or attacks or special forces. I've been looking at the Mongoose. I don't think it's called it, but Special Forces add-on. I was thinking of getting that. Far Trader, Psionics, GM Screen. Good stuff. Oh, and this is, here's the best JTAS. Yeah, so they got that. You know, that's a journal. But this really interested in me. Interstellar Wars. This is during the period of time that the game Imperium is set, where Earth is fighting the Vilani, and then the rule of man period afterwards. They just defeat them in that 200-year period before the Dark Night or whatever, where humans tried to keep things running, or humans from Terra or Earth after they won and the Vilani surrendered, tried to keep things running. And from what I understand, this actually uses GURPS 4, and they've got a spaceship combat system here. And actually, that's something I'll cover later. I've been looking at different combat systems. The earlier ones for space combat, you know, they used hexes and future position, past position, I think going all the way back to Mayday for GDW. And looking at the different ones, even in this one, they're using that feature here. So I'm trying to decide when, not if, I get to space combat, do I want to use the current Mongoose version where you're using bands of range and trading shots, or do I want to kind of fall back and use one of these? 2300 AD had a good one, but here we've got it in Interstellar Wars. But I actually looked at it here for the GURPS portion, and they still have that same thing too. So this is kind of, and then they've even got combat counters, and all of this is included. And then we got a bunch of deck plans: Beowulf, Square and Hex, 2D, Empress Marava class, Far Trader, probably border auctions, probably a modular cutter. There's another cutter. Then they've got assault cutters. Here's my scout. Although I'm pretty happy with the diagram. I think it's a 2D that I have from the Mongoose version. And here's a system defense boat. So could use these for boarding actions. Bounty hunters and Agent of the Imperium, although I've already got this. I've already read this one. Oh, this is an ad for it. So if you get the physical copy, you get a map. That's pretty cool. I think you can buy it on his site. So yeah, there's some good stuff here. Like I said, the things I'm excited about are that Interstellar Wars one. Let's see if we can take a look at that. I think it's over here. Yeah, here's all the deck plans. I guess we can look at a few of these. What are we at for time? We're good. I don't know. Let's look at the Beowulf. Let's see what that looks like. Should appear on my other screen. No, that's pretty big. Make it a little smaller there. See, this is cool. These are actually cut out stand-up counters if you wanted to do them, and they give you directions. I'd be tempted to print these out, and you see back and front, and you can fold them up. They've even got, looks like an air car here you could use. Then it goes bigger. Yeah, here's the deck plan. And you'd have to stitch it together. So that's pretty good. Beowulf, hex plan, and then they also have a square instead. I think I'd go with the square at 1.5 meters, but there's hexes if you want to use 5-sided facing. I'd have to look at the combat rules. That's another set of rules I'm going to have to pick here. So that's the Beowulf. And then another one, just to use something different. Let's do the Dragon. That's that system defense boat. So I look at that, and it's pretty big. Yeah, and they got nice little pictures here on the side. You can see it, but if we go through it, we're going to go through a bunch of ads here to get to it this time. Wow. Yeah, this almost looks like a magazine. Well, interesting stuff to read for back history. Did I even pull up the right one? Oh, here we go. Oh, again, we got those counters that could be made. I'm going to have to play with this. Well, maybe I just use the graphic. I don't know why their backs... Oh, here, this is the front, upside down. Really like top down, but they've got some more here. That's good stuff. And... oh, finally, here's the deck plan. Pretty big. Maybe I can shrink it down a little here. Yeah, nice setup here. They're giving you the decks. It looks like upper, lower, and then the mid deck here with a shuttle bay. 400 tons. And they tell you how to piece it together. There's a big picture. Maybe we'll just look at that one to get an idea. 1A, here's level 2. Here's the lower levels. So, interesting stuff there. And more detail. Yeah, it looks nice. Usable. So if you wanted to do some kind of boarding campaign or something, could try that. Let's see, what else is here that's interesting real quick before we close it up. Lone Star Room, there's the best of JTAS. Here's some other one. Oh, here's First In. That's the Scout version. Pretty handy. Here's another reference. They did a lot, 147 pages. We got vehicles here. Again, back story of the Scout Service. I've read that a few times in different sources. Characters, and I guess in the GURPS system, vehicles, and then they get into generating stars and generating planetary systems. It's got good detail. I could look at it here. Although you saw my previous video, I'm kind of looking at the world builder. And then they talk about their guidelines here. So got another resource for the Scout campaign, or just running Scouts. I think there's two more I want to look at. Let's see. Well, there's Interstellar Wars. We'll look at that in a second. And starports is good. Actually, you can build and design starports, and let's pull that up. Have a campaign or have an adventure on those starports here. Let's look at the outposts of the Imperium, Starport Authority. They give you the organization, services, planetary, starport characters even. That's nice. And then design. So you can actually design starports if you want, just like Starships. I think they give you diagrams. You can build them out too. And then they give you a rescue vessel. I guess some starships associated with the starports there. And they got port samples at the end. Let's see if we can jump to that. Oh, look at that, yeah. Nice. Here's your hotel floor. Low cost budgeting, passenger, livestock. Okay, nice. Using hexes here. Vehicle berths. I guess that's your average Sylean right there. So you can diagram that out. So again, another good resource to use. Let's look at starships. Sorry about my screen always coming in so big. Let's look at the starships, construction and design, propulsion. This may help with starship operations. Let's skim this here. Further detail. Controls, sensors, and electronics. That could be helpful in my current campaign. Weapons and defenses, ordnance, accommodations. Well, there's a whole section. I gotta skim through this. Starship operations here. Jump point masking, movement, free jump, combat, maintenance, supplies, life aboard, designs. Wondering where. I wonder if this is. I forgot now. There's a whole. I thought there was a combat section here. Maybe in the main GURPS. But they do mention it here. I just thought I just saw it. Hold on. Oh, we got some deck plan. Oh, wow. Tigris class, Dreadnought. Got the lab ship, safari ship. There's our Dragon SDB again. Heavy fighter. Okay. Let's see. Let's come up here a little. Launched ordnance, etc. Let's see. Weapons tables. So there's a bunch of stuff here. Combat 104. I don't think that's. I found it somewhere, but. Oh, here we go. The basic rules for space combat are found on pages 163 to 174. Let's see. I don't know if it's on this one. There is no 163, so GURPS Traveller 163. Maybe we'll look that up real quick. Let's look at some of these big boats here. Wow, a lot of info there. Cockpits, pieces, sensors, how much they cost, weapons tables. I don't see them though. Maybe they're not here. Or maybe they don't give deck plans. 163. On game. Oh, here we go. Not as detailed. There's a Dreadnought. Yep, warships and Dreadnoughts. They're only showing one deck, so maybe not as detailed. That's good though. Let's look at, let's see if I can find GURPS Traveller. Page 163. Looks like this one. 163. Yeah, that's it. Hopefully my Adobe doesn't start acting up, and let me get rid of some of these. Doesn't like it when I open too many graphics there. Here we go. I think I'm on GURPS Traveller Classic. Let's go to 163. Check out that combat rules for space combat. Yep, there we go. Preparation, hexagon grid. Okay, counters are miniatures. Okay. That's good. And maybe even look at their advanced combat system for personal combat. Need a D, 1D, scales and definitions, 20-minute combat rounds, 1 hex, 10,000 miles. I think we're seeing maybe some Mayday heritage here. Here's a sequence of action, detection, communication, maneuver, movement, direct fire. I don't see anything presenting solo here. And you got to detect the enemy first, so they go into that. Different ways to do it. Okay. Maneuver phase. Use their M drives to maneuver. Lowest to highest acceleration. So that's kind of their initiative. Whichever one has the lowest acceleration goes first. Equal break ties with the tactics skill, etc. On its turn to maneuver, a spacecraft may change facing and/or accelerating. Moving its vector counter. There we go. That's where future hex. So you end up looking at the future location and adjusting it for maneuvers. Okay. And then once you've done that, the movement phase, it doesn't matter anymore because everybody's set up their forward hex, and I think that goes all the way back to Mayday. So I'm tempted to try this before I try the combat band method, or try them all. And then they get into damage effects, weapons. The ships, well, they've got the Suleiman Scout in here, so if I use these combat rules, I'd use the specs from here. Damage control, they do have, looks like planets, and how to incorporate your crew. Yeah, so I may look at this one. This I would view the latest version of the hexagonal based kind of space combat. Once you leave here, I'll have to look at T4 and T5, but probably just T5, so we're operating in the same area. I think T5 used range bands, so I'll have to look at that. So I'm tempted by this one. And hand in hand with that, I may look at its combat, although the Mongoose combat is pretty traditional movement, major action, minor actions, pretty standard. So there may not be a big difference there, but there is a big difference here. When we jump from this method to the current Mongoose Traveller, no hexagons, no maneuvering, you're just, maneuvering in the sense of just changing range and firing. I don't know which one is best, so I'll look at both of those. So yeah, that was important to me, how they're doing space combat. And then, like I said, the last thing that was really cool for me is Interstellar Wars. Now, if you do want a game during that period, apparently you need to get the 4th edition of GURPS Basic. The other ones are based on GURPS 3rd edition, and there's a 3rd edition Lite, but this one is based on GURPS 4th edition. Let's see, GURPS Traveller covers 200 years of war and peace that actually the GDW Imperium is based on. But now you can go in it. I wonder if I could actually run Imperium the game and then generate stuff from how the game is going. Yeah, and then let's see. Yeah, there it is, Interstellar Wars. 4th edition source book for the Traveller U. So I do think you need to go out and you have to leverage 4th edition to use this. 2006. And let's look at the contents here. Yep, Terran Confederation, Vilani Imperium. A little background there, the epic struggle. What happens here, rise of the UN on Earth, first contact, etc. Breakout, triumph. Okay. So there's got the backstory of what happened during Imperium. And it looks like they talk about Earth forces, Terran forces, the Imperium, the Vilani at the time, and a map of the known universe. Yeah, it keeps going. Placing populations, creating characters, technology, starships, starship design. They got some deck plans of a picket ship, a private merchant. And again, this is back where we have Terra taking on the Vilani. We got some big ships here, battleships, light cruisers, etc. Starship Combat, and look at this, it looks the same. Detection and communication, maneuver phase, movement phase, direct fire, point defense. Maybe compare the two. I think this came out after the one I just looked at. I don't know how much they can cross-index, and then they've got all these here, so that looks interesting. Campaigns. GURPS, yeah, and they talk about the background here. So this one's interesting. I don't know if I'd go ahead and play in this era, but what's cool is you can now. Then you can also with T4 play in the Sylean Confederation area, and then with GURPS Traveller you can play in a different Imperium era where they didn't fall, the Emperor wasn't assassinated, or the standard TNE. Mongoose Traveller, I don't know where it's placed. I think it's placed right now before the assassination. So, that's, again, that's the latest of everything, Mongoose. But for me, the debate between Starship Combat is, I'm an old hex encounter kind of person. This really attracts my attention over range bands. So take a look at that. And now you can game out this period, the Interstellar Wars. And they got all this looks nicely made too. They get into the backgrounds. I'm skimming through this real quick here. Different period. Adventure Seeds. Grand Tour. Terra Conquered. Yeah, wow, that's nice. Could play it in a different way where the Vilani conquer Earth. Oh, alternative commands. Setting up a campaign center can be very challenging. Oh, you could do a naval campaign here. They're giving ideas. That could be interesting. A lot of material here to use. So that's pretty awesome. So I think I'll tie it up here. So this was let's see what we got here. That's GURPS Traveller. There was one more CD, the JTAS. They've got a ebook of the Grognard. Let's see, I don't see a PDF. That's interesting. Maybe it's under here. Yeah, I found it. It's not too big. Oh yeah, ruminate. 521 pages of ruminations from, the Lauren, creator of the Lauren verse. So that good, interesting reading here. Some backgrounds. My first traveler. Oh, nice. Look at that. So there's some good reading there. Oops. And then let's look. What else do we have here? Oh, that's it. Grognard, JTAS. Let's see. I think I just opened that, so I don't need to look at that. Steve Jackson. Okay. This is the only electronic copy of the Journal of Travel where Steve Jackson was doing it. Yeah, and it looks like just HTML pages. Don't know what's going to happen here. Let's see what we got. Okay, I may want to play with this through the index, but yeah, it just looks like HTML pages of info. A few pages it looks like. This is later, so good info there. And I think that was it. Yeah, should have gone for the index here. So that's the GURPS we just looked through. And then I did get T4. And it's all here. I've heard about fire and fusion. They said it's incredibly complex. Here's another survey to look at. Pocket empires, Imperial squadrons, a bunch of good stuff here. Would I actually use the T4 system? Probably not, but again, we've got resources. Starships, early Sylean can... Let's back this up a little. Interesting artwork. And then they give ship profiles of all of these. Ship design, pretty standard here. Topics. So you could look at that. Here's surveys. Let's see. I'm betting this is the scout version for T4. Let's see what we got here. It's sectors. It's just sectors. Sector information. Okay, if you're gaming in that time period, then that works too. Let's see if anything else. Emperor's Arsenal. Let's look at fire, fusion, and steel, and we'll close it at that. I think that's their space combat for T4. Excuse me. Here are all the resources. Integrated Mark Child Fire is the comprehensive vehicle design system. Oh, never mind. This is for ground. Although it's interesting, it could be worth looking at. Yep, vehicle design. Okay, that's fire, fusion, and steel. Okay, and one more. Let's see what we got here. Anything jumping out? Alien Central, your Starships. Didn't I already look at this one? I think I may have. Yeah, I did. And its design, I don't think they get into combat here. So you'd have to look at T4 combat, and I don't think I'll look at that later. And here's some JTAS issues. And they got some vehicles, etc. So again, good reference material here. So I think I'll end it here. Just give you an overview. Again, some good stuff at Far Future Enterprises if you want to drop the coin. I think I'm done, actually. I do have all the classic Traveller I want. I mean, I don't know about the Apocrypha. I've got the GURPS. Got the TNE down here. Mega Traveller. Picked that up. Got T4. I did get 2300 AD. Although I found there was a reprint of that by Mongoose, which I saw. Which I may look at if I decide to do that. Another alternate history, not related to Traveller. Different history of us getting off Earth. Not interested in dystopian 2000 end of the world, nuclear war. Actually, I got Traveller 20 from a bundle of holding from a few years ago, where I also got Traveller 5. So at this point, besides new Mongoose stuff, I think I got more than enough materials, and my problem now is assimilating it. Sorry. And figuring out how to use it. So anyway, I'll end it here. If you're interested, pop out to farfuture.net. And if you want to get a bunch, buy 3 and get a refund for the 4th. And that has helped me. Now I have 8 of these CDs, and from other sources, I think I've got all my Traveller resources. But always looking for tools too. So anyway, that's my review there of my latest grab from Far Future Enterprises. Hope you found reviewing some of this material useful. Plus like if you enjoyed the recording. Subscribe if you want to hear future. But now I'm getting close. Time to hop back in the Intrepid with our crew of Carol, Sunny, and Bob and Mary. And as they go in and start mapping Qatari Prime, Scout campaign continues. Who knows where it's going to go. And that'll be it. Thanks for listening.